And we're off and running here in Cleveland. Charlie Jones going to play it, and he's got a seam. Jones, Hopkins, unable to beat him, and here we go. One man to beat him, and he is
in. He's just an Athens boy, trying to live his football dream and win a championship in his native state. But then this Brownie team, they give him like a real hard time, and they would hit Joe Burrow again and again. Amarius Mims, blocking like his life depends on it. He put Garrett in his place. Don't stop for Cleveland. Let go of the fear you had. Elfie can't hurt you no more. Don't stop for Brown Town. They're more of a mess than ever. Beat them and leave them on the floor.
Welcome to the number one Bengals podcast. I'm your host, Daddy McDuke.
Yeah.
I'm joined as always by Dr. Hoji Electric Ismoji and Jam Double Brain Shirin. And we have our publicist in the room. I'm talking about Victoria Rama. And we need a nickname,
Victoria!
folks. So leave a comment.
After a victory by the Cincinnati Bengals, in comes Victoria into our lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean that's a sign, right? That has to be a sign. Yeah.
Yeah, I have been called because of damage control that I have to do recently. So
Tell us about that,
that's why I'm
Victoria.
here.
Who did the damage? My guess is Daddy-O, right?
Both of you are out of control completely.
Yes, this is what we've been told.
Well, it makes your job interesting, makes your life interesting.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you're very grateful for that. But here we are after a big victory. I want to say a victory that we can't quite quantify, John, in the sense that, they're a bad team, but they're the
they
Browns.
won by 7 points.
Won by 7 points.
It's a number.
By 7 points.
Quantifying it. Thank you, John. But we can't quite quantify it.
We can't quite. What is a point, really?
Yes.
What
You
is
made
a
1
number?
point. I'm going to make 7 points.
What is the
right?
point is the thing I've been saying on the show for 8 years to you, actually.
You have.
There you go, John. Thank you.
And it hurts.
But here's the thing, John. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying first time Joe Burrow's ever won in Cleveland. First time the Bengals have won, since 2017? Right? Very long time. And Myles Garrett, John, not much of a factor.
No.
Going up against Amarius Mims.
Our offensive line works.
It works, John.
It's like the first time you wear Depends. You don't know, is it gonna work? And then it works.
Yes. It doesn't
Daddy would
feel-
know a lot about offensive lines. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, John. But here's the thing. This is a turning point. We're 3-4, 1 game out of the playoffs, right? And
John, is that true? That doesn't sound true to me.
No, it's true.
That's true. Yeah, 1 game.
Yeah. And we're rolling. We are rolling. We have 2 wins in our last 2 games.
2 wins against complete juggernauts.
John,
the New York
please,
Football Giants and the Cleveland Browns.
Bad
Okay.
teams, big wins.
Yes.
The Browns is not just the Browns to us. The Browns are our bully.
No, you were treating them like Lucifer last show, and you were expecting them to lose when they were a terrible football team, and we saw that on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah. Well,
I do a lot
John,
of drugs.
Actually,
John.
Victoria, if I'm not mistaken, Deshaun Watson was like 15 of 17, 16 of 18.
I mean, I guess he is
Passing?
Lucifer.
Yes.
He was, right?
Yeah.
He was on fire. He was throwing for 2 yards, 3 yards, time again and time again. He was on fire. And then he had an Achilles injury and things changed. Well, I mean, it was 7-0. John, for a long time, all we had going was Charlie Jones, right? That opening punt return for the first half, I think. So it was a tough game. That was a hard game to win. But what we know is this team doesn't lack talent. They can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They can beat the Baltimore Ravens. What they lack is confidence, right? And they lack the ability to stand up to good pass rushes, which I think, John, if you look at the Giants game and the Browns game, there's a big difference in how they reacted, the offensive line.
I guess, but
what's the difference?
Well, I mean, Myles Garrett's like one of the top 3 pass rushers in the world.
He's just one man,
and Dexter Lawrence is arguably the best defensive player in the league right now, and he barely did anything against the Bengals either. But still, the offense struggled mightily in both first halves of those games. Like they're 0 for 6 on third down in this one. It's just unacceptable. You can't. It's not sustainable.
Well, what do you think the cause was, John? John, what was the cause? What's the cause, John?
Right now, in the last 2 weeks, they are arguably the worst running football team in the league. They are 31st in success rate and 32nd in EPA per play. Chase Brown is still explosive, and he'll get you a handful of explosive runs a game. Zach Moss is doing next to nothing with the ball in his hands. And their outside runs, their sweeps, they're getting negative yards. They're trying to do very similar things to what they did in the beginning of the season when they were very efficient running the ball, and now defenses are being a lot more aggressive towards it, and they don't have a counter yet. And what's happening now is that you still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are basically your entire offense at this point, because you don't have a reliable third option in the passing game, and you don't have any sort of consistency in the run game because you don't want to give the ball to Chase Brown 20 times a game. You don't trust him with his build or whatever the case may be. Anyways, like, I'm not saying that that's the answer to just give Chase Brown like all those carries. You still want to have some balance there, but they need to find some counters in the run game. They need to find a way to be more balanced, because right now, if Chase and Higgins, like, they have good games, and typically they don't play the best against Cleveland because their cornerbacks can match up against them in man coverage. But Higgins did a lot more positive work in this one against Martin Emerson. He won his matchup for the first time in his career against that team, and that was great. But there will be other defenses that will be able to take him away a little bit more, and you need to find some reliance on either Mike Gesicki, Eric All, Andre Yoshivas, whatever, Jermaine Burton, play him a little bit more. They need to find some different answers than just spamming Chase and Higgins, because right now that's all they can do. And it's a luxury because not everyone has 2 receivers like that, but they need to do more.
John, there's a saying, a rolling stone gathers no moss.
Yeah.
And maybe that would help Moss with his running. Just keep rolling with it. You get the ball, don't stop.
Well,
tell him that, because he's stopping a lot, actually.
He's stopping.
Yeah.
He's stopping too
John,
much.
John.
He's stopping into other people's tackles.
Look, we are seeing Joe Mixon in 4 games played being the best running back in the league, basically. Maybe after Derrick Henry, right? We're seeing him look incredible.
Yeah.
And we saw for so long, we're like, why is Joe Mixon not hitting the holes fast enough? Why is he making bad decisions? Why? John, a scheme matters. The run game coordination matters. And Cincinnati is terrible at it. I mean, Zach Moss is not an amazing player. But Chase Brown is very talented. We know he's physically very talented. Like the way Joe Mixon was physically very talented.
Yeah.
In a
Big
different way,
legs.
but yeah. Well, I'm not talking about the physical beauty of these players, Hoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
What
talking
are we
about
talking about again?
Well, I'm talking about how they can play football. Physically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what
would
the
say
show's about.
the run blocking of the offensive line is definitely the weakness. Like, they're pass protecting phenomenally along the edges. Orlando Brown Jr. is having a career. Amari Smith is playing well. Run blocking, though, they're losing a lot quicker than they should. And Chase Brown is doing well because he's gaining a lot of yards after contact. He's gaining a lot of yards over expectation. And Zach Moss is just taking what is given to him, and he's not creating on his own, which was an issue with Joe Mixon for many years when he was here, and now he's kind of running with a purpose now with Houston. And he's in a lot better fit, and he's got a better offensive line in front of him. So I think right now it's just Chase Brown is a very plus athlete, and he's doing a lot just on his own, and that's why he's still averaging like 5 yards a carry.
Well, John, Dr. Andrew Seiler has said, I blame Yoshi. He gets no separation. He's only ever open on scramble drills. And I guess that means when he's making eggs in the morning, nobody's around him, maybe his bad breath. But then says we have a slot receiver problem. John, I agree with that to some degree because Yoshi is a big man. We need one of those skinny little guys that runs around. Nobody knows. He slips through the cracks. Yeah. And he's always there. And it's like, wait, is he a receiver?
Like Ace Ventura.
Well, yeah. Well, like Ace Ventura in approach. But yeah, John, I mean, maybe even Jim Carrey's too tall. I'm saying one of those like 5'8", 5'9", slot receivers. Yeah. Contrasting the kind of.
But I mean, can you get anybody at this stage? Isn't it week 8?
Yeah, that's true. But do you see what I'm saying, John? I'm saying personnel-wise, we need that contrast. We need that little guy.
Yeah, like they could definitely stand upgrade at that position, but the whole point of moving on from Tyler Boyd and getting someone more versatile in there is that you could move T. Higgins and Jamar Chase into the slot more often. The problem with this one is that I didn't think Chase was in the slot enough. He was only in there for 24% of his routes. T. Higgins was in there 31% of his routes, which is a little bit of an uptick for him, and I think that helped kind of boost some of the opportunities that he had down the field, because I think all 4 times he touched the ball, they were explosive plays, but the whole point was that you weren't limited to where you could have both T and Jamar in this offense, and then you can move them around a little bit more. But the problem is when you have both those guys on the outside and the coverage is funneling, the vacancies towards the middle of the field, you still need someone who can separate it in the inside. So, yes, I do think that they could stand to upgrade at that spot, but you still want to have the versatility where you don't just have to have that guy in there.
Yeah. And, John,
the tight end's got to step up in that middle part of the field.
Yeah. Well, John, I want to address your last point that you put up on the screen here. greengridiron.com, and
John did not.
John, well, he was talking and it came up on the screen. So, John, here's the thing: you can go to our website, greengridiron.com. Use the code Bengals.1. Look at these Bengals 1. You can get these beautiful helmets, right? They have these are the face masks, I believe. Those are the visors. If it is sunny, if it's rainy, if it's windy, you use those, John, to protect your face and your skin, keep it looking fresh. Victoria knows a lot about that, keeping it look. And you can get the mini one, as you saw. It's perfect for nephews. Doesn't matter, what the nephew likes or doesn't like. You just get them a mini helmet. You put on their head. It protects them while they're riding their bike. They're mountain climbing. They're fighting with their cousins. And here you can get the cheap version, $10. Nobody can tell the difference. Look at that. Authentic. These are authentic NFL products. They're real bumpers for the NFL. They are made by Green Gridiron. And by the way, Green Gridiron is going to be making a custom. Oh, look at this. The warning labels. I've always wanted one of those. Only $1.50. You get the real warning labels for the NFL. You can put them anywhere. You can put them on the helmet. You can put them on your car, But wow. John, yeah.
Now, Victoria, you strike me as a fashionable person. Would you wear one of these helmets to, I don't know, the ball?
No. Which one would you wear? That's the question. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you, who designs these?
Good question.
Is there a way to...
Green Gridiron, I believe.
.com. Code Bengals 1. So, but here's the thing. Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
If you have a nephew, Victoria, you're going to have to get him one. Something about
I would.
The nephew.
I would.
Listen.
Something about nephews and this.
Here's the thing, Victoria. They are designing. John is not entertained. They're designing a Daddy on Hoji.
Nephews need gifts. I don't know.
Original helmet with this show, #1 Bengals podcast. I'm not
we
even
really
kidding.
Should be mascots for some NFL team, the Daddy on Hojis.
Yeah, and they're going to
yet.
make a documentary about it, and we are going to be in the documentary. We might even.
Who allowed this to happen?
Who allowed it? They begged us. They begged us, Victoria.
Yeah.
In fact, I really feel like
before you were here,
both
Victoria.
Daddy and Hoji should have helmets on their head, actually. They should have actual NFL helmets
All
on
the
their head.
brains, John. We don't have 2 brains like John double brain Sheeran.
Where does the stuffed brain go? Where is
John.
the crust that is filled with more brain?
John, he was asking you.
Doesn't come with the helmet, I'll tell you that.
Well, I tell you this, I ain't got a lot of brain left after all the mushrooms I've done.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the thing. John, while you're on the topic, you can actually go to patreon.com and let me change the banner for you, John. And you can check out all of our songs. This song is going to be uploaded on there as well. The one that Dr. Hoji just sang about Don't Stop in Cleveland. All of our songs are there. When you become Patreon, they are complimentary. That means they are free when you pay to become a member of patreon.com. Just wanted to share that with you as well.
And because the logic is a little bit complicated, I hope the fans understand how free it is.
It's completely free. Once you pay to become a member, it is free. It is free.
$3.99.
It is a one-time monthly charge.
One
Yeah.
time.
You're too
One
generous.
time-
Wow.
But you
One
can
time
also
monthly
you can
charge.
also be not free. You can pay $3 to get any song you like. So it's up to you. All right, let's move on, John, to the
Let's
next
move on.
game.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Because Philadelphia Eagles, they're a very good team. They have a very good running back, John Saquon Barkley, who number 2 draft pick, right? Physically, he has what Dr. Hoji looks for in terms of the legs, very physically imposing
Big old
legs.
thighs.
Yeah.
Nice hammies.
We call them gams. When they're big,
Yes.
we call them gams.
Oh, he's got the gams. He's got the gams.
Yes. And so here's the thing, John. He's had a lot of injuries. The Giants didn't re-sign him. Now he goes to a division rival. He's having what, a career year or close to it? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's third in the league in rushing yards, and despite the Eagles losing Jason Kelsey at center, like they had a pretty easy replacement in Cam Jurgens to replace him there. And while there's been some snap issues, the blocking up front along that interior is still really solid, and you have a running back who's still got some juice in his legs. Naturally, I think it's going to be a good fit, and that's what it's kind of been. It's been a little bit inconsistent, I think, for him. He's had 3 really good games and 3 other games where he's kind of had to do a little bit, here and there, and the stats don't look nearly as nice. But I think his consistency has been, it's been a really good fit with him and Jalen Hurts in that offense. And they just got back A.J. Brown from injuries, so I think their passing game is a little bit better than what the numbers have been recently. But no, the personnel is definitely still there. Despite some turnover along the offensive line, there's still an athletic group that can get after it.
Yeah, they can get after it. And John, the Bengals had recent success stopping the run, but overall, I don't know. I like what I'm seeing from this defensive line. How do they match up with Saquon, John?
It's not. I mean, to get to Saquon, you got to go through the offensive line, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the starting left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles is none other than Fred Johnson.
He's a starter, not from injury. Like he was the opening.
No, I
day.
mean he's starting in there because of injury, but he is playing like Fred Johnson has always played. He's a phenomenal run blocker, and he's still doing it with a joyous smile. And the fact that he's still in the league and still playing at a high level, that's awesome for me. But that's who Trey Hendrickson is going to go up against. And already like Trey is a really frenetic run defender, but it's typically not his strength. So they're going to have to scheme up ways to make sure that edge is set and you can crash down on Saquon's, because a lot of his runs, they've come off of long runs.
Well, here is where I'm a little conflicted, John, because Trey Hendrickson has not been on our show. Fred Johnson has, and he had a lot of fun on our show. He laughed.
Fred Johnson's
Arguably my
friend
favorite
of the
guest,
show.
I think.
I think
if I
he
were
was
to
Call
make
also
someone a
that.
friend of the show, they are a friend of the show.
So, I'm not sure who we're rooting for.
Now,
there.
now here's a few things. Number one, the Philadelphia Eagles have not beaten the Cincinnati Bengals since Christmas Eve in the year 2000. That's when Y2K happened, John. Is there a connection? I think so. That whole incident threw the Cincinnati Bengals off. Whatever, ain't going to happen again. The Bengals are the favorite on Sunday as well. They're playing at home. So I think the Bengals got a lot going for them, and I think the Bengals have kind of recovered from the whole Jamar Chase melodrama soap opera episode that was jamarring the beginning of the season. You see, like it was jamarring it. It jamarred the beginning of the season for us. I think that's over. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good. John.
I'm glad you think it's over, because he's leading the NFL in like every major receiving category. He's arguably playing like the best receiver in the NFL right now.
No.
Matchup,
The drama's over. He's back.
yeah, he's been back. I feel like we're well past that at this point.
Yeah.
But no, like I think that matchup is going to be the biggest one in this game, because Quinyon Mitchell, who was kind of linked to the Bengals, I think, in the pre-draft process. He was arguably the top cornerback in this draft. He fell pretty inexplicably in the draft all the way to the Eagles, and the Eagles did the smart thing and just drafted him like 23rd overall. And he's played like the best rookie cornerback in the league. He's done an extremely good job in man coverage. So, I mean, Jamar is just fresh off of battling Denzel Ward, who got the best of him a handful of times last week, and now he's got another really lanky, athletic, sticky cornerback that can kind of give him some fits in man coverage. So, the Bengals offense, obviously, again, runs through Jamar Chase, runs through Teagans, and if that doesn't work, then they're going to have to find counters, because Jamar is going to have his hands full with a really talented rookie. But at the same time, Mitchell's going to have his hand full with Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Well, speaking of having your hands full, we have, as you know, us three combined, John, we have over 10,000 followers on Twitter. And sure, Yeah. Well,
Victoria doubts it.
or I should
Yeah,
say, well,
where did you
10,000
get your numbers?
We rounded up to the nearest 10,000 though, Victoria.
No, 10,000. John has 10,000, and we put him over 10,000. So there you go. And so we are in high demand. People are constantly asking us things. They're following our accounts.
We're basically celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Victoria, what do you think about our Twitter approach and our strategy? Is it reaching the target demographic?
Well, I think it's the fact that now engagement and likes, more likely likes on Twitter are officially private now. You can hide your like count.
Yes.
That has helped. Let's say it that way. Let's put that way. That has helped a lot with your guys' engagements.
With Daddio
Daddio
specifically, because Daddio he likes
Well,
all the
Well, I like
fascist stuff.
I like freedom. Is there anything like freedom? I like.
Okay, we'll just leave that there.
First the speech. I like first the speech.
Victoria, the real question is, are the likes on Truth Social hidden? Because that's where Daddio's real account is most active.
I have to check that. I really have to go on there and check that. Yeah, Daddio, you need to slow it down. Let's put
Slow
it
it down, baby.
You need to
slow
it
the
down.
brakes. Slow your
Actually,
roll.
Koji, you're not doing great either. Those snails pictures. I mean, I get it. It's
My
a good
snails.
cause. Yes,
Yeah, I'm really
but
into
that's
snails.
too.
I'm-
Yeah,
save
we
the
can
snails.
see. It's too zoom in. It's weird. It's disturbing. Zoom it out.
Yeah, we can't tell what they are. I can't.
We
even tell what they
can't.
are.
Yeah, it's disturbing. It's bad.
Is that
So,
why I
yeah.
get all the explicit markers on my snail tweets?
Right,
Because
they
they're
look
just
like other
snails.
things. They look like other parts.
Now, here's the thing. Did you guys know that the Cuban painted snail is endangered and an important part of our ecosystem?
No one knew the Cuban painted snail was a thing until you just said it.
Yeah. Without the Cuban painted snail, the animals that eat the Cuban painted snails, despite the fact that they shouldn't be eating them because they're endangered, will die.
Yeah.
Okay, what about
I'll just
John? He's
approve-
doing stuff
I'll
wrong.
I'll
John's
approve
doing
the
stuff
pictures
wrong.
before you post
I feel
them.
like John's approach is.
I
is
feel
working.
like my snail pics, I zoom in to get their personalities. Some of them are smiling,
Yeah,
some of them
no.
are crying because they're thinking about what's happening to the snails.
John, what are you even doing on this show? Like what's I feel like you have a social life, you have friends, right? What are you
You
why?
could save yourself, John, is what she's saying, but we know that you're indebted to us. We will track
I mean
you down, John.
whatever they have on you, it's just I would
No.
rate I would
John,
yeah,
you don't
it's
have
not
to
worth
tell her
it.
what we have on you. But here's the thing about John. You would be surprised at the lack of opportunities for people to talk about sports online today. There are not a lot of platforms. And so,
What about A to Z, where John, double stuffed brain Sheeran, is famous?
right. I mean, A to Z, it sounds like a very promising project, John, internship. I'm sure it is going to take off one day. But
What do you mean? He's a-
speaking of,
John double
Yeah.
brain Sheeran.
yeah. Well, okay. So let us get our predictions for the upcoming game against the Eagles. Let us start with Dr. Hoji.
Oh, we always start with John.
Oh, we
But
do?
start with me.
No.
I already kind of gave my prediction. So I actually feeling pretty good about this one. I think the Bengals are on a roll. And I've been wrong so far, so I hope I'm not wrong and jinxing thereby the game. But I think that, every game has been a little bit better. I think that we started the season off, as I said, a little bit flustered. I think actually the Jamar Chase contract was the main reason for that. I also think Lou, I can't figure out what he figured out, but Lou Anaromo has figured something out. I don't know what it is because I'm not smart enough. But he's figured something out and the defense is working better. And I don't think it's just because the Browns are bad. I really think he's figured something out in terms of the defensive line because they actually look cohesive. So my prediction is it's going to be a close game, but I think the Bengals can pull out a win. 27-24, Bengals.
Okay. John.
The Bengals have not won at home so far this year. They've yet to lose wearing the all-white uniforms. But something is sticking in my mind, and it's what Joe Burrow said after the Browns game, and how he's not concerned about how the offense has been playing over the past couple weeks because they've been winning. And I feel like that's going to come back to haunt him because the Eagles' defense, again, I think very talented front four, very athletic, cornerbacks that can play against both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They need to score more than 2 touchdowns on offense this week. That's what they've been scoring the past 2 weeks. And until they find counters to what they're running into right now, like the Eagles' offense is better than the Browns' offense and the Giants' offense, and Saquon Barkley, again, one of the best running backs in the game. So I'm going to say that until I see this Bengals offense kind of return to the form that they were in the first 5 weeks of the season, I'm going to say the Eagles take this one by the score of 26-19.
Okay. And I will make a prediction, and Victoria can say who is right, which prediction is right. Does that sound good, Victoria?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So here's the thing. I agree with John. We are struggling on offense. And Joe Burrow is playing great, but the offense is slowed down. The run game is caught up with us. We face real defenses, all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, we haven't stopped a good offense yet. I mean, we almost beat the Ravens, but we gave up 41
Wait,
points.
did the Chiefs count?
We lost to the Chiefs, but they're
We
not a
stopped
good
them.
offense. I mean, Mahomes is really bad right now. He's
It's a very
terrible.
frustrating offense because they convert all the conversions that they should, but they're not explosive in the slightest.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said.
We were both right.
But here's the thing. The Eagles, that is the type of team. That is the type of team where they will grind and grind and grind.
Uh-oh.
And I think they're going to grind and grind to the point that they obliterate the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to be obliterated.
That's horrible.
And the final score will be 31-20 Cincinnati. That's my prediction.
Wait, backtrack here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Reverse. I think I missed something.
No.
You just said they would obliterate
They
the
would
Cincinnati
obliterate
Bengals.
them.
Right.
Yes.
But then you're also at the same time saying that the Bengals will win by 11 points.
Right.
So
Yep. That's what I said.
31-20.
That is, well, very good listening there. Yes.
Yeah.
Good listening skills.
But I just don't. The two things don't connect. That what do you mean? What are you saying?
Okay. So,
Okay.
you know what literature means, and you know what the prefix "ob" means, like obligation, is to move something towards legation, right, or towards its duty. And here, obliterate means they're going to move us towards the literature, people writing about
Okay.
the Bengals, because when the Bengals
Wow.
win this game, they're going to be all over everybody. They're going to be back at 500. They're going to they're going to shut down the real team, beat the good team, and people are going to be like, and the Eagles are going to obliterate them. People are writing about the Bengals over and over and over again, and they're going to be obliterated. That's my prediction.
I have to obliterate my grandma about this show. I have to obliterate her about about your prediction, which is brilliant.
Thank you.
Victoria, you asked why I stay on the show, and I think that last minute just proved if I wasn't here, this show wouldn't make any sense.
Completely. No, completely. Yeah, I understand.
Thank you. Wow. Well,
I'm going to
happy.
obliterate HR about all this.
HR has obliterated herself, and that is why you had to bring the publicist in, because we decided
Oh yeah,
to move away.
HR is nowhere to be found. at this
HR
point.
quit? HR can't quit.
quit.
Yeah.
If HR quits,
Yeah.
then we're all fired.
Yeah. Well,
And we certainly don't have
can't be
health
fired.
benefits. Who's going to pay for my next plastic surgery? I'm getting a butt job.
You can use the
actually,
snails.
Victoria, I know you had some images to share of ideas, designs for Hoji's new body, how to sculpt his body. So maybe we share those.
Oh,
on the
yeah, I
next
do. I
show.
did a lot of sculpting. Please. My plastic surgeon is
Yeah.
out of ideas. He says I'm hopeless.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is the show. And don't forget to go to patreon.com/dhsports, and you can get our songs. You can pay us. That is part of it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, last week we had three-time Patron of the Week, Dustin Jenenert. And now, this week, he has been upended and defeated by the new Patron of the Week,
Not
unseated by Joseph CTD.
Wow.
CTD.
Joseph
Yes.
has scored a CTD on this show.
Yes. And so Joseph is our new
I had
Patron of the
ESP
Week.
that this would happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the new Patron of the Week. Congratulations to Joseph and all the patrons out there whose dreams can come true. Yours can too. Go to patreon.com/.
But I was using a lot of CBD.
Yes, and that is all we have. And in closing, we have a song, another song, Dr. Hoji, that created for us that we can listen to. Borrow Time in Cleveland. And I will leave you with that. Thank you so much.
Groove it up.
Thank you so much to the Sweetie Pies. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, follow all of us on Twitter, and don't worry, Victoria is making sure to keep us in line. And check out John's articles on A2ZSports.com/Cincinnati. Take it away, Hoji.
Now I lay me down to see Bengals making history. I'm talking about Borrow Time in Cleveland. I'm talking about deep time in Cleveland. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no.